Well, the big wet continues in Brisbane, and here's the latest from my good mate Alan Thomas.
Both Eagle Farm and Doomben have been saturated with 600 mils or 24 inches of rain this week. It's brought about the cancellation of all provincial racing, but more importantly, we lost yesterday's Guineas meeting at Eagle Farm, almost $500,000 in prize money lost, and the Labor Day Cup and Coca-Cola meeting at Doomben tomorrow is off, with the Coca-Cola being transferred to next Saturday's Doomben 10,000 card, and you wouldn't have your last on that.
Alan, it's very, very waterlogged. There's a lot of surface moisture right over the whole track in all the low-lying areas, and at this stage there's no possible chance that we could race on Monday. We've had over 20 inches of rain since Tuesday, and it looks like it's not going to stop either.
What about the 10,000 meeting next Saturday? Is that in jeopardy now?
You could say it may be in jeopardy now, Alan, because of the rain does not look like it's going to let up. And if we don't, if it doesn't stop, we will have a lot of trouble getting the track right for 10,000 Day. It's not all doom and gloom, with the Lee Friedman camp prepared to literally weather the storm.
We sort of came up here with the idea that we were just going to winter horses up here anyway. Whilst the weather at home's fantastic at the moment, it's a bit difficult here. We'd be pretty confident that that's going to change, you know, within the next 3 or 4 weeks. And, you know, I think if we sort of knee-jerked a bit and took them all home and then things swapped around and it was good up here in a month's time, we'd be tearing our hair out. So we're just going to have to, you know, grit and bear it and see what happens.
Well, there you go, John Tapp. We're into our second week without racing. And I don't know about you when the races aren't on, but at the moment, I'm like a bear with a sore head.
You're lucky, Alan. I'm the opposite. I'm just sore with a bare head. Well, during yesterday, of course, in Adelaide, they had a terrific program at Morfordville, highlighted by the Schweppes Australasian Oaks, and it's hard to believe this was the first Group 1 winner prepared by the Hayes clan in Adelaide, in their hometown, since Walter Boatman won the Cup in 1990. Let's pick them up as they near the turn in the Australasian Oaks.
Innocent Affair will lead them to the home turn, and the Schweppes Australasian Oaks at Group 1 level by a length and a half, nearly 2. In second place in Classic Allura, head away on the inside. Unpretentious has had a good run at the 600. They go now. Esther Kelly revs up behind those, and then 2.5 to Top Ratio. They're quickening considerably. Over on the outside, Miss Margaret warming to her task, followed further back, but not on Friday. Princess Quilla, the rail out wide like a smile, and then came Gaelic Joy. Unpretentious got a dream run in the straight and went through to lead. Classic Allura out wide as they come to the 200. Still their Innocent Affair, and here's Like a Smile starting to zoom at them out deep. She's sprinting home. Like a Smile is revved up very quickly, and it's Group 1 success for Peter Hayes at his home headquarters. Like a Smile spears away to win easily. It developed into a silly sprint home, and she's...
Yes, commentary by Ron Paps, and that filly Simon picked him up in one bound. She was very impressive.
Yes, she certainly was, and the stable in Adelaide have an enormous opinion of Like a Smile, as they do of Miss Margaret, but Like a Smile probably a few percent better yesterday, and that was a very, very impressive win. I'm glad I got myself back together, actually, because after that bear with a sore head, and you're just sore with a bear's head, I think go to a break at some stage. I can't stop laughing.
Sorry about that. Here is that break on the racing show. A ding-dong finish in the famous 2,000 guineas run yesterday at Newmarket. The winner, the horse on the outside, Mark of Esteem, with the unique style of Frankie Dettori in the saddle. Second even top on the inside with a white shadow roll, and in between them the third place getter was Bijou Donde. The finish of the English 2,000 guineas. Simon, a good program yesterday at Flemington. What have you got for us? Yeah,
it was a good program yesterday at Flemington. There was some big fields and some good racing. But the main race yesterday was the Straight Six. We've seen lots of races at Flemington over that 1,200 metre course. Yesterday was a very good one as well. Let's have a look at it.
All set to go now. Lights on, they're racing. Alpina heading straight towards the grandstand side of the track, being trailed out there by Royal Discard. And going out there also Eccentricity and Chief Hagworth. The majority of them are heading towards that outside rail. But now over on the outside, Alpina just in advance of Chief Havoc, getting down towards the 200-metre mark. That outside division are well clear. Alpina is clear now. Royal Discard is coming home well, could be the danger. Royal Discard has hit the front close to home. Royal Discard wins it from Alpina, tight for third.
Yeah, that was a very good win of Royal Discard yesterday. Martin Riley trains the horse out at Caulfield. You would have sworn Alpina nearly had the race, but looking with all the horses on that outside rail, the jockeys and the owners and the trainers had decided that the bias was towards the outside yesterday in that straight 6. Also, we had a good mares race yesterday over 1,400 metres, and John Marr had a big say in it. Gold Foil was the horse that won the race, and John Marr trained 3 of the 4 winners, 3 of the 4 place getters, I should say, in this race. The upmarket handicap it was. Gold Foil's the eventual winner. Formosa Gua, you can hear Johnny Russell calling, but Gold Foil goes home. Formosa Gua ran second, Do Me a Favour was third, and High Pixie was fourth. And John Marr trained 3 of those 4 horses in that top 4 of the race. It was a good effort by him, and I think he's going to have John some good mares during the winter running around here in Melbourne.
OK, mate, at Rose Hill, one of the most impressive wins of the day was by a pretty little grey horse called Well Known, which made it 9 out of 12. It's a very good record, and ridden by a young lady called Tanya Randell, who left her baby daughter Cassie J at home with a babysitter while she came to Sydney to ride a winner at Rose Hill Gardens.
Terralite, the leader, coming to the turn over Well Known and Sword on the outside. Then Super Time Park, close enough, if good enough, followed by Montana Sands, Brimstone. Widest of all in the orange colours, Pollyanna Mist, and then Amber and Batwing. In the straight, the little mare, Terralite, still in front. The grey, Well Known, pounces. 2 lengths away, Sword under the whip. Montana Sands down the outside is starting to hit top gear, but Well Known shot to the front. The little grey, Well Known, looking for 9 wins from 12 starts, has burst away from Terralite. Sword and Montana Sands can't do any better, and Well Known for Tanya Randell. Well Known beat Terralite.
Yeah, well done, Tanya. She's got 7 weeks of her apprenticeship to go. Shane, after race 2 yesterday, the stewards inspected the track and it didn't look good for a stride or 2, but they decided to go on without mishap, fortunately.
Well, lucky no horses fell, which was good, but yesterday you had to be racing on the pace. You couldn't get too far back, and the best part of the track looked to be about 4 or 5 horses off the fence, and of course she rode that horse very, very well. And girls suit wet tracks because they stay balanced on horses and they're not very vigorous and they keep running through the wet tracks.
You don't like them on dry tracks, eh?
I prefer them on wet tracks where they keep them balanced.
Fair enough. Well, Kenny Callender had his eagle eye peeled all day long for horses to watch, and he's come up with a couple.
Thanks, John. Generally, there's not a lot to get excited about on a cold, wet day at the races. But I think yesterday at Rose Hill was an exception, because I think I spotted 2 horses who were going to make big names for themselves. They are Noble Dane and Rue Lopez. Now, Noble Dane, a big, strong horse by Dane Hill, the Premier Stallion, has taken a while to show what he can do. But he's won his last 2 at Canterbury and Rose Hill, and that's not going to be the end of it. His trainer, Barbara Joseph, told me that she was tempted to take him to Wagga on Friday for the Wagga Gold Cup. But she said, no, hold on, I'll give him a bit more time yet against poor horses, and his time will come. My word, his time will come. And the other fellow, Rue Lopez, you think this bloke's not going to be good. He's trained by the maestro Bart Cummings, and every run he has, he gets that bit better. He bolted in at the midweeks before coming to Rose Hill yesterday. Yesterday he gave a big start on a bog track, and he still got the money. You jot his name down, Rue Lopez. He's trained by Bart Cummings. Thanks, John.
Good on you, Ken. Couldn't agree more. He really was uncomfortable on the ground and still won. Rue Lopez, good effort. Well, it's a bleak old day in Sydney. It's a bleak old day in many parts of Australia, but straight after this break, we've got something to brighten you up, the beaming smile of Gai Waterhouse.
Noble Lotto was placed to the lead outside. Cassidy throwing everything at Noble Lotto. It's just in front. Chuganoff diving late. Noble Lotto in front and Noble Lotto. Noble Lotto beats Chuganoff to win the cup.
Yeah, that was the finish of Friday's Wagga Cup, won by the Kerry Jordan-trained No Bellotto, ridden by Larry Cassidy. The Gai Waterhouse-trained Western Approaches finished well back. What happened, Gai?
Well, John, he struck himself in the running. Chris Munn said he was never happy when he first jumped, and he struck himself in the running and hurt his leg quite badly. He'll now go for a spell, John, because it certainly wasn't the true Western Approaches on Friday at Wagga, was it?
Gai, Shane here. Usha, she was meant to run yesterday in the Australasian Oaks. What happened there?
Look, why are you guys testing me on all these horses that didn't run or ran poorly? Why don't you talk to me about all these winners?
Flight to Fantasy Saturday?
Flight to Fantasy Saturday, Shane. Look, yes, the filly went down there and unfortunately went amiss, and we're shipping her back. These things unfortunately do happen in racing. They're the hard luck stories, but we've certainly got plenty of good luck stories.
Gai, talking of hard luck stories, there's going to be no hard luck stories for you down here in Melbourne. You're bringing a stable down?
Well, I applied for stables. When I came back from the carnival, Simon, I realised that I had to have stables in Melbourne to be able to, firstly, house my horses the way I do in Sydney. And if I house them the way I have them in Sydney, I think I'll probably be more successful in Melbourne. So I applied to the VRC for a trainer's licence and for boxes. And from what I read in the paper the other day, the Telegraph, I'm told that I'm getting quite a few. But we'll wait and see. I'm in no rush.
Gai, as a humble trotting trainer, I'm the first to realise that wet weather can wreak absolute havoc as far as training horses is concerned. If you do too much, you can cook them. If you don't do enough, you go into your next race underdone. You're just never quite sure how to work them, are you?
Well, John, I train my horses, when I train my horses, I train them for all conditions. I'm a great believer of getting them to run through the wet as much as possible, because one day it might be the Melbourne Cup, or it might be the Derby or the Oaks, and if your horse isn't, I suppose, well and truly used to the wet, it mightn't be able to perform as well as it should. But it is a bit of a headache. You like to have a dry track. We mainly race on dry tracks in Australia, and so it's a little bit of a blow when we get the tracks we've had in the last week.
You had a couple of runners at Rose Hill Gardens, namely Balmaressa and Gossips, and I guess they'll join your Brisbane team shortly.
Yes, they are, John. I'm going to run both horses next Saturday at Rose Hill in the 2400 metres Cup. And then they'll both go to Brisbane. They're both on target, Balmaressa and Gossips, for the Brisbane Cup. I must say I thought it was a very eye-catching run of Gossips. Both runs for me have been very good. One at Gosford and yesterday at Rose Hill.
Gai, I got a week off through the weather last week. Do I get another week off next week?
Shane, you never get a week off with me. It was just a fluke last week. But I did say to Shane the other night, why don't you go to the track on Saturday and just... He said, oh, you're only cantering. I said, I don't care. I said, go over and feel the horses and see how they are. Well, did I ever get an earful of what he thought of the track at Eagle Farm on Saturday?
It was too wet.
Yes, it was very wet, wasn't it, Shane? But thank you for that.
Good on you, Gai. Thanks for being with us live from that well-appointed office at Tulloch Lodge, Bowral Street, Kensington. See you next week, Gai, and thank you very much indeed. OK, folks, I think it's time we took another important break on the racing show. Back in a jiffy. Beautiful pictures from the Winter Quarter Farm in Kentucky. The former champion Australian race mare Let's Elope with her first foal, a bay filly by the world-famous sire Danzig, who happens to be the sire of the mighty Danehill. What do you think that filly foal's worth, gentlemen?
A lot of money. I wished I owned it.
Maybe, yeah, fair bit. Hope it puts them up and down a bit better than it is at the moment, but...
Simon, you got a horse to follow?
Of course I have. Always have. I've got 3 of them. High Pixie, Fabled and Ruleen. Don't miss them.
Yeah.
Mine's White Queen. I thought she should have won yesterday. And also Doctor's Orders when the races get a bit longer, John.
Might sound a bit silly tipping a horse that's already won 2 races straight, but that little cult of Jack Denham's, King Ivor, never knows when he's beaten. He's got a great big motor.
Very impressive yesterday. Was never going to win turning for home and kept going. Good horse.
See you later, mate.
Thank you.
See you, Simon. And